Welcome back everyone to some disc golf. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Huge thank you to Modern Woodmen and William Pochop for the sponsorship for the coverage. And a big thank you to the title sponsor, Starkville, Mississippi's disc golf town. Or Mississippi's college town, really. We're starting right in on hole 10, par 3, 236 feet. We've got this nice big open right-handed backhand hyzer or left-hand forehand hyzer. This one kind of gets a little sneaky difficulty here with how thick the brush is and how low the ceiling gets. So if you're inside, you have a much higher chance of kicking left into the thick of it, and if you go long, it's even thicker. There's this OB creek around the basket, so if you go past those logs, you'll be in a tough spot. Micah Peacock starting us off.
Yeah, you too.
Nice wide hyzer, keeping the height to help control the distance. Going a little bit long on that. He will unfortunately have to lay up for that one. Well, he doesn't have to lay up, but it's the most likely result. Cody now, a little bit more inside. And that should be absolutely parked if it didn't skip. Jacob taking no time, following Cody up with another great shot. That should be fantastic as well. And you saw the little tiny skip, so that should be absolutely parked. And then we've got David. A little high, but should be fantastic. Should... Yeah, just like they're saying, as long as that those wood chips that they've got around there stopped it from skipping, it should be a fantastic shot. And then we finally have Ben. Nice high and wide, spiking in. A little too wide, but that's right at the mouth, so that should be fine. Here we've got Micah. They did a lot of trimming to clean this hole up, but still, if you're outside of the mouth, you're having a tough time. A respectable run there from Micah. He'll have about 10 feet for the par. Ben from probably 20 feet. Maybe a little bit further than that. Oh, just airballing left. Very impressive mini throw, though. And unfortunately, Ben did end up going OB past those logs. Nice birdie there from David. Cody got a little bit of a skip, but that log stopped him from going out. So nice birdie from him as well. Keeping a great pace. Jacob keeping up with him, another birdie, just 2 back from the leader. Micah tapping in his par. And Ben had to unfortunately go down into the creek to retrieve his putter. And he finishes out the hole with a bogey. Here we are at hole 11, par 3, 387 feet. Very similar to the last hole, a little bit different though, in that that's not similar at all. So we've got this open right-hand backhand hyzer. We've got this OB all along that left side. That is a creek, and if you are in the thick stuff, you are OB. We've also got this OB parking lot here to the right that we can see just dead center of the camera frame now. And that kind of the whole, the entire hole, the whole hole narrows as you get closer to the basket, so really very demanding of accuracy and distance. Cody up first, shows how it's done. Trying for the hyzer flip. unfortunately not flipping enough, and he will end up OB very short. So only progressing really about 150 or so feet. Jacob opting for the much wider route.
Well, at least it's in bounds.
And just ending up right in front of that parking lot. He will have a very scary look at the basket, probably a layup. Here we've got David, as you hear me sneeze in the background.
Great shot, David.
Great shot from David. That's every bit of 350 feet at least. Great accurate shot. Micah opted for the forehand here. Much safer play. You're kind of safer and riskier all at once because you are going over OB if you do it right. However, you are finishing towards the inbounds, so. And the miss is to finish further to the right than finishing to the left, which is, you know, death. And this looks like a fantastic shot from him if he can get right. And it does. He will be a little bit short, probably 60 or so feet from the basket. Here we've got Ben. Also opting for the hyzer flip like Cody. Unfortunately, just like Cody, he will end up in the thick stuff as well. Here we've got Cody. Just laying up, giving it a decent run, but and Ben almost ringing up the par save. That would have been amazing. Here we get to Micah. Catching a lot of chains, but too high and a little too far to the right to stick. He will have to settle for the tap-in par. And here's Cody from probably 20 or so feet to save the bogey. And that he does, losing a stroke. David to card the birdie. Oh, just too far to the right. From a fantastic drive, and Jacob just pitched up to the basket and was much too fast for me to catch on film, but he taps in his par. And moves one back from the leader. David tapping in his par, Micah to do the same, and Ben with the unfortunate, with the great almost par save to now a tap-in bogey. And we move on. Onward and upward. Hole 12, par 4, 673 feet. This is almost a mirror of the last hole. Instead of having the OB on the left side, it is now the right side. And it is that same creek. So if you are in the thick stuff or past that painted line, which we can't see from the footage unfortunately, but it's there, you will be OB. We've got this nice big open left-hand side, so the right-hand backhand hyzer is definitely the play, and finishing early left is much preferable to finishing early right. However, the closer you are to the creek, the more I feel it opens up the approach shot, because if you're the further left you are, you're kind of just throwing straight at the out of bounds, whereas if you do end up next to the creek, you're just kind of throwing over the OB and finishing to the left.
That's still going up. There you go.
Jacob opting for the huge hyzer, finishing very far to the left there. Here we've got David. Nice flat shot. Rises a lot there. There must have been a lot of wind going on. And he will finish in a pretty decent spot there. Not quite as far left as Jacob, but a decent shot nonetheless. Not to say that Jacob's was in any way preferable or worse. Tell my wife hello. Micah not quite getting enough turn on this. He will finish out left over by Jacob Henson. Here we've got Cody. He will also finish up on that left side. Unfortunately, it was difficult for me to see on film. So I do apologize that we missed that shot, but you'll rest assured he finished on the left-hand side. Ben going for the ballsy play here, going over the OB the whole way and finishing right on the hill. He will in fact be inbounds and in great position. Micah with the power forehand here. Pushing that one a little wide. Followed up by David Rogers. And a great shot from him. Very, very risky play going over the OB like that. Been very likely following that same line. Nice low, nice and driven. Finishing very far to the left, kind of overshooting the basket, or not kind of, but absolutely overshooting the basket, so he'll have a risky putt coming back. Cody putting a lot of turn on that. He will finish way too far to the left. That is a layup all day. Jacob barely giving me time to get set up. Putting himself at probably 20 feet from the pin. That's my favorite distance to say because it's so generic. From now on it'll be like 19 or 18 feet. Here we see Cody about 18 feet away, or 5, depending on your perspective. And here's Ben from well outside the circle. This is probably like, well outside I say. This is probably like 35, 36 feet. Nice bid from him. He'll have a tap-in par. Here we've got Jacob from probably actually 15 feet. It looks much farther than it was. And he's in for the birdie. Here we see Micah from just about the same distance. Just not enough commitment. Coming up a little bit short, hitting the basket. Not very happy with himself on that one. Here's David from probably 12 feet. And a great birdie from him. And we should expect the rest of our card to tap in their pars. Hole 13. Rest in peace, left Mando tree. Unfortunately, as you saw in the first round, this tree that we're passing by on the left here is no longer there. It had to be removed for the safety, and we're passing by the Mando tree here to the right, which you have to get to the left of from the tee. That's not confusing at all, before you get to the basket. Par 3, 256 feet. Let's see how they attack it today. Jacob up first, opting for the forehand. Super high. Extremely short of the Mando tree, and he will unfortunately proceed to the drop zone. David also missing the Mando tree. In great position for the birdie if the Mando wasn't there. Some nice music to jazz your round up a little bit. Micah making a great correction and putting himself in a fantastic position for the 2. Really wish we could have seen Sean Portier over here throwing the backhand roller. Cody opting for another great looking forehand. Pretty short of the where you'd like to land. He'll be just a little past the drop zone, so he'll have a look at the 2, but a very long look. Although we did see Edgar Bedolla make that long look during the Christmas Classic. Ben also throwing a great looking forehand. Nice skip, nice ground play. Rolling up to about 12 feet. Jacob with his par save attempt. Just a little wide. It was a great height though. David to follow that up. Oh, nice. Catching some chains, just not enough. Here we see Cody from just outside the circle, looks like. Nice putt from Cody, keeping a great pace up. Catching a stroke on the closest to him, Jacob Henson, so putting himself 2 in the lead, 2 strokes in the lead, excuse me. Micah in great position to grab the 2. Just a little low. Same mistake he made on the previous hole. Unfortunately catching back up to him. Ben from a similar spot, but maybe a foot or 2 closer. Catching all of the chains high right, but making it into the basket. Scorecard does not keep pictures, so count it. Jacob and David for their bogeys here. And we've got Micah to tap in his par. Hole 14, par 3, 287 feet. We've got this OB culvert, drainage ditch, whatever you want to call that, but there is a painted line, so essentially anything on the rocks and right is OB, and we also have this OB walking path to the left, so kind of playing as an island hole, just a tiny bit. But this is really a choose your own adventure style hole. You can go to the left or the right, whatever shot you feel comfortable with to get that 280 feet. Cody opting for that huge forehand. You hear that snap coming off. And absolutely parking it. He will have a 4 or 5 foot tap in. Ben to follow that up. Opting for the backhand hyzer play. Put himself a little bit longer. That's probably about 18 to 22 feet, somewhere around there. Just ignore the fact the average is 20 feet. Just forget about that. Micah also opting for the forehand. Going much higher with that than Cody did. And ending up much further to the right. He will have some work to do. And unfortunately, I think that's actually out of bounds. I think that just came up a little bit short of the rocks. Jacob following that up very quickly with another great looking forehand. Unfortunately, I did not deem to zoom in so we could see that, so you'll have to take my word for it. That was a decent shot. And Cody, very short, ends up on those rocks. He will unfortunately only progress about 80 feet up the fairway. And this is nightmare situation with that forehand approach shot ending on the OB. He will unfortunately take another OB stroke and only progress about 100 feet up the fairway.
I'm gonna take it straight back. Provisional? Yeah, there's provisional.
Not quite sure if he did actually reach inbounds on the other side. He's throwing a provisional here. However, spoiler alert, he in fact did not reach the other side, and this is his actual shot. Putting himself a little deep of it, I think. Here we see David for the bogey, excuse me. Unfortunately going to be taking the double with a tap in. Ben from probably 25 feet. Just a little low on that one. Here we've got Jacob from probably about 15 feet. Nice dead center hit there. A little bit to the left maybe, but Basket doesn't care. Basket's like, ah, yeah, this is a good putt. I'll keep this one. Micah making his bogey putt. Cody tapping in that beautiful bird. Keeping it a nice battle here. David with the double and Ben tapping in his par. Here we are at hole 15, par 3, 245 feet. Once again, another sort of dealer's choice. Pick your own adventure style hole here. You can go straight up the gut, you can go the left side, or you can go the right side. The right side is actually very open, but it requires a lot of power to get that hyzer to pass all the trees and get far enough left, so much riskier. Left side's the most common play that I have seen, going the forehand and expecting the ground play. Or not expecting, but anticipating the ground play, I suppose, would be the more correct word. I don't think I've seen anybody go straight up the gut on this one, as of yet. Cody opting for the left-hand forehand. And a great result there, curling up right to the basket. Jacob takes no time, follows that up with another good shot of his own. A little anti-skip there from a root or something. Should put himself in a great spot to, or a great look at the two.
Yes, you're right, it was money.
Ben kind of grounding that one, unfortunately, but huge skip play. Wow. Gets all the way over there. Gives himself a look from 15 or so feet. Just inside the circle. We'll say that. We'll be just like generic and vague rather than specific. Be like, that's inside the circle. Oh, that's outside the circle. Micah very low with this one as well, and unfortunately not skipping quite enough to the right. Very straight skip, so I think that's just outside the circle. David unfortunately not getting the ground play that he would have preferred, and he'll be pretty short by this Joseph Logue tree. Giving that a very respectable run. He'll have an easy 3 from there. Here we see Ben from just inside the circle. Nice center putt from him. Great bounce back. Jacob almost at bullseye. I think maybe this is bullseye? I'm not sure. We didn't put flags out for this one. But as you'd expect from him, he just centers that one up. Micah going bogey birdie. Unfortunately, I think it's too late for him to really catch up, but trying to get himself in a good finishing position. David tapping in that par. And huge shout out to Noah Honeycutt catching the ace on this one. Great shot. And Cody with the tap in. The infamous hole 16. Par 4, 597 feet. We have this nice big wide open hill here. Just throw your nice hyzer out and you'll be fine. And then you've got this OB culvert that you gotta avoid. And then not only that, there's the OB walking path across the way. And if you come in as at a hyzer angle too early, you will be in the thick of these trees right here. So this is the ideal landing spot, just at the bottom of our screen. We kind of just passed over it. And then we finally get to the basket. And these Christmas trees here, these are horrible. They make your shot so much more difficult if you land in them. They are hugely terrible for your footing. How many more adjectives can I throw in about how bad they are to be among them? If you're ruined for the really risky play, you will try and land past the Christmas trees just in front of the culvert. Cody well in the lead, not opting for that risky play. Jacob getting to that spot much faster than Cody. Not quite happy with that. It is a little bit cut off, a little early left, or a little more early left than you would prefer. But not quite as early left as Ben. That is a terrible position to be. That is, as we saw Joseph in a very similar position during the first round, that is essentially just a pitch out and fight for the par. Micah putting a great line on this one. Put himself in the ideal position. David wanted to go for the risky line, so he asked Cody to go up and check, make sure he didn't lose his disc in that culvert. And he finished much further to the left than we can see from this angle, so we will see. Jacob kind of giving me the jukes there. And he will finish just to the left. He'll be in the Christmas trees, about pen high. So that's a pretty decent shot from that position. Here's Ben from very similar, and with a very similar result, putting himself in a great position to get up and down. There was a little bit of confusion as to who was supposed to be throwing. I thought it was Micah, but here was Cody the whole time. It was me the whole time. So as you can see, or as you can't see, there is the basket over there. These Christmas trees blocking the view entirely, so kind of a spray and pray sort of situation. Well, not exactly spray and pray, but just throw and hope. Hope you get into the basket, but give it the distance, because it's probably about 300 or so feet from this spot. Cody putting a great line on this one. That should be absolutely perfect. Some fireworks happen in the back, and we finally get to Micah. Putting a nice Anheuser over the top line on here. I think that finished a little to the left in those Christmas trees. Here we get to David. Unfortunately, he did go OB. And this is where it was last in. Putting himself in a good position to clean up the par. Yeah, and here we see where Jacob landed. And he really just takes no time. He is such a fast player. It's so hard to film.
Will you sign my disc after the round?
Ben giving that the height. Just missed the line slightly. He'll have to settle for the par. Here's Cody from just inside the circle. Cashing in that birdie. Put himself 3 in the lead, assuming Jacob makes his putt. Micah with a just outside the circle look at the birdie. Oh, just a little bit low. Here we have Jacob from very similar distance. I guess it was just outside the circle, judging by the step putt, but hard to gauge. Nice and centered for Jacob. He is absolutely putting on fire today. When I grow up, I want to be just like him. I'm already halfway there. I got his first name. David a little low on his par save. Unfortunately, going to have to settle for the tap-in bogey. Cody, the only birdie on the second round for this hole. Micah making good on that par save, or par cleanup, excuse me. David with the bogey, Ben with the par. Hole 17, par 3, 299 feet. This is a much more righty-friendly hole than a lefty-friendly, but still, you kind of have some options here if you're a left-handed player. The forehand, of course. Or you can throw the straight shot, or you can throw the turnover shot. But if you're a right-handed player, you're probably going to opt for the backhand hyzer play here. So just 299 feet. The mistake you'd like to make is to finish a little more to the right than the left, because if you go too far left, you have those crepe myrtles to contest with. Cody has a very similar form to Isaac Robinson, where he kind of sticks his arm out and then swings it back. It's very interesting. Jacob couldn't have put in a great line on this. He should be in a great position there. Cody, I think, coming up a little left, so probably we'll have to try and get through some crepe myrtles. Ben going nice and straight. That should be absolutely parked.
Might actually make that putt. Anyone got a Sharpie in their bag in case this goes in?
Micah's got the jokes. Ooh.
You can put it up.
Coming up a little bit low. Unfortunately, not gonna be able to use that Sharpie. Man, this is a great line from David. If this can get left, it should be fine. And this hole, unfortunately, right next to a bus stop, which coincides with right when we're here.
Get it.
Oh, right off the top. Micah with the amazing approach.
Is anybody outside the circle? No, you.
Cody finally proves that he's human and misses a putt. In the back, you hear him say it. First outside the circle putt I've missed all day. So there's a chance. There's a chink in the armor. David making good on that birdie putt. Jacob puts himself within 2 strokes of the leader with 1 hole left to go. It'd have to be a pretty big blow up for Cody to lose this one, but stranger things have happened. Ben making good on that birdie putt as well. Micah and Cody to clean up the par before we move on to the final hole. Some great sportsmanship there. Hole 18, the final hole. Par 3, 395 feet. The play for most players, or the predominant player, is going to be the right-hand backhand hyzer through the field, coming into the basket. Or, as we saw Joseph Logue, if you're a lefty, the huge turnover shot, which ended up in a great spot, actually. I was not expecting that. from the look of his shot, it looked like it was going to finish in the parking lot, but it was great. So anyway, backhand hyzer, throw it out in the field, coming in toward the basket.
Put it in the basket.
You put a water bucket.
You fucking put it in the basket right now. I don't mind splitting the tournament.
You can barely see it.
That's what I'm saying. I'm still trying to find it.
Cody and Jacob discussing if he makes it into the basket, they'll split the tournament.
Walked it off twice. So. That's not it.
Yeah, that's get in the hole.
Jacob trying to run
Good
it,
shot, though.
putting himself in a great position. Well inside the circle from there.
Birdie that hole?
I did.
Well, y'all were before me. I had a chain out. Sorry.
I've had a bad day.
Yeah, Cody, why don't you just make that putt? Jeez. Gotta ruin the order. My goodness. Cody also putting this one nice and wide. If this can just get left. Not quite left enough. That was huge, though. That was a smash. David way too inside.
Oh, shoot.
That may be in the parking lot.
Shoot.
No?
Cody getting a nice flip up hyzer on this one. And that leaves himself inside the circle as well. Micah also putting a great line on this one. If this can fight left. Oh, not quite left enough. Leave himself outside the circle. David actually ended up in bounds on this little tree cutout.
Trying to throw it in. Yeah, I thought you were about
Trying to throw that in for the birdie. Here's Ben from circle 3. Oh, putting a great line. Great bid from him. David for his 3 from, looks like just outside the circle. Coming up just a bit short. He will unfortunately finish his round and this tournament with the bogey. Micah from just outside the circle. Once again, coming up just a little bit short. Here we see Jacob from just inside the circle. Chalk bag at the ready. And with a huge puff of chalk, he finishes his round.
cannon putts all day long.
2 back from the leader. Assuming Cody makes this putt, which, I mean, let's be real here. We all knew he was going to make that putt. So Cody, your second annual 2023 Dog Days Open champion. Some great shooting from him and a great round from Jacob as well.
Shout out Black Zombie Death.
And once again, I would love to thank my good friend William Pochop for sponsoring this coverage. Without him, this would not have been possible. And without the title sponsor, Starkville, Mississippi's college town, this tournament would not be possible. If you're in the area and you want to know what's going on, check out the Starkville Disc Golf Association Instagram. A big thank you to my Patreons, Dustin West, John Reed, and what's his name? What's that dude's name? Sean Trapp. That's the guy. Huge thank you to them. Thank you for making this coverage possible, and thank you for watching.